Well, a Hollywood actor's shocking claim about the origin of his throat cancer is sparking a growing debate over cancer prevention. In a new interview, Michael Douglas reveals that his cancer was apparently caused by a sexually transmitted disease, his throat cancer. Dr. Tara Allmen is a board-certified gynecologist, and she is with me now. Doc, all right, so I apologize to the viewers for being so squeamish on this, but, you know, it's 1:45 in the afternoon. People watch with their children. So he claims that certain sexual activity down south in Rio, as we say, that's south of the border on a woman's body, led to him contracting throat cancer. And as it turns out, this is fairly common?
Well, you know, it's not fairly common, but let's redirect the conversation to the human papillomavirus. So I don't know his exact HPV, right?
And that's what he blamed it on.
Right. So his particular throat cancer has been associated with the HPV virus and an infection, and his exposure to it was likely many, many years before the presentation of a cancer.
So they say between 10 and 15 years earlier you contract HPV through this activity, this certain sex activity, and you contract it from a partner who has it, and then 10 or 15 years later you wind up with potential throat cancer. This, according to the stats I read on cancer.gov, accounts for more than half of the cancers diagnosed in the oropharynx, that they are linked to this HPV. So now this HPV, we already knew it could cause cervical cancer and all sorts of cancers, you know, below the waist. And now it's causing throat cancers as well?
Let's not scare your viewers. So HPV is ubiquitous. We all will meet it if we are sexually active people. Most of us will clear that infection. Most of us will have no serious consequences. Most of us do not need to be frightened. And most of us should continue to do what everyone has told us to do, which is to practice safe sex.
Yeah, but people don't really practice safe sex when they're performing this particular sex activity, a man with a woman. You know, it's not really something that is, you know, well, let's just leave it at that. And so now the question is whether men out there need to be worried, and women with their partners, about contracting throat cancer.
I think it's going to be a boon for the dentistry industry. I think they're going to look more closely now inside the throats of their patients just to see if there are any early signs of any issues in the back of the throat. That's where this virus will infect the tonsils in the back of the tongue. And I think the human papillomavirus vaccination for our young people is probably the way to go to reduce this concern overall for all of us.
Right, you can get it up to, I think, 21 as a man, 26 as a woman. You can get that vaccination. But there are all these different strains of HPV, and only a couple cause cancer, correct?
That's exactly right.
Some people out there can have HPV and they don't need to worry about cancer.
That's exactly right. So there are more than 40 strains, but the two terrible ones are number 16 and number 18, and that's how the vaccination works, to prevent those particular strains from infecting you.
Okay. And you're telling me that once you get this HPV, you can cleanse your own body of it? I mean, I thought HPV was more like, you know, some of the other STDs that you can get that are with you for the rest of your life, and not like the kind that you take some penicillin for and it goes away.
It is a virus, but your own immune system is going to clear it for you, so you're not going to have serious consequences from it. So really, again, I think the focus for your viewers is to not get too freaked out by this news, get some good information, and go about their day as safely as possible.
Is this type of cancer, throat cancer, more treatable than others? Because he was suggesting it has a 95% chance of not reoccurring. And some of the articles I read on this suggested that it's very easy to treat. It's very rare it should pop up as a stage 4 cancer, which in his case it did, by the way, though.
Yeah, I think a stage 4 throat cancer caused by the HPV virus is indeed a rare event. So again, for most of us, we're never going to see this, and for most of us, it's not going to be an issue in our lives.
I say pay attention. If you have a sore throat for a month and you ignore it, you know, stay on top of that, because it could be something far worse than, you know, the tonsillitis. Doc, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we did okay on that. All right, for 1:45, and thank you for bearing with us, because it's an important subject.